Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for our Made in Texas interview series, where we speak with filmmakers about filming in Texas and their Texas connection. Esmeralda Hernandez and Marisela Campos, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So why don't we start with you just telling us a bit about the project and the story itself?
For sure. So Dream Carriers is a love letter to San Antonio. It's the city I grew up in, and it tells a poetic story about 4 generations of women, all told through the migration of monarch butterflies. So as we hear this narration about the great migration of monarch butterflies, we meet these 4 women through their childhood, adolescence, and adulthood, kind of leading the main character, Amelia, to her coming of age and going off to college.
That's wonderful. I love the analogy you created of this evolution of the monarch butterfly, and also like the evolution of familial lineage and heritage and the things we kind of pass on. How did you come across that connection and kind of make that analogy come to life for yourself? I mean, did you do research on monarch butterflies, or how did that really come to fruition?
Yeah, so I was doing research about monarch butterflies for a different version of this project. I was trying to make like a coming of age story based in San Antonio. And so I was just researching at what time of year do monarchs fly through San Antonio. And as I was doing that research, I kind of learned their full migration cycle. And I kind of saw that connection just with going to college is a big thing if you're a first generation student, which is a lot of people. But for me, I was a first generation college student, and making that connection of, being able to pursue the dreams of your family before you who didn't really see their dreams come to fruition. And it kind of just related to each other.
Yeah,
and
perfectly.
Monarchs are already kind of like a symbol for resilience in the Latino culture, and kind of just took that and ran with it. And Marisela was she was on board. So
Yeah,
kind of encouraged me to do it. So,
yeah. I love it. Well, Marisela, can you talk a little bit about your role on the project and kind of how you guys work together?
Sure. Esmeralda and I met finally on a film set of a UT alum, Luisa Gonzalez. But I had heard of her all through the program. She was a year ahead of me, but I knew of Cake, which was one of her films at UT, and I always wanted to meet her. And so a mutual friend, introduced us. And she finally reached out and was like, I have a project. Do you want to hear the pitch? And I was like, absolutely. I've been waiting to work with you. And everything lined up. That's why I want to make and produce Tahana directors, is because oftentimes those stories I can absolutely relate to, and I want to see those stories made.
In both of your bios, you talk about wanting to kind of highlight underrepresented communities and Latino communities. Are there any kind of organizations or resources you've kind of come across?
San Antonio luckily has a very heavy Latino art scene already, and I've always been surrounded by that. But the program I was a part of is called SAYC. It stands for San Antonio Youth Yes, and it's a nonprofit arts organization that offers visual art, media art, theater arts to 6th graders to 12th grade. So
that's great. Yeah. Anything come to mind for you, Marisela?
Yeah, Tahanas in film. That's a big one for us.
Yeah.
It started by Chelsea Hernandez and Sharon Ortega and Samantha Lopez, and so that one's a big one for us. It's open to anyone, but they're very big supporters of Tahanas in film and making film in Texas.
Yeah,
so,
that's great. Well, thank you both so much for joining us here today. It's such a beautiful film, and we're so glad that you are here and filming in Texas and sharing this beautiful work and message with our community. So,
yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you.